everyone, it's Peter with ConversionLife.com, and if you're a sports fanatic like me, you're loving the time right now. I'm talking about the 2008 Summer Olympic Games that are going on right now in Beijing, China. So I've invited a great friend of mine, Marcus Santi, who is a track and field star, someone who's competed on the highest levels of competition, trains Olympic athletes. Of course, he's also a blogger on ConversionLife.com in our health category, just to talk about the games, the highs, the lows, the agony, defeat. How you doing today?
Good.
Thanks for hanging out with us in studio.
Well, thank you very much. My pleasure.
So, Marcus, before we begin, I want to know about you. So take me through your background, your track and field history of how it all started for you.
Well, Peter, it all began when I was 4 years old in 1976. I was watching TV, and I was seeing track and field on TV. I didn't know what it was at the time, but there I was watching the 1976 Olympics, and I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, you know, come in here. You know, what is this? What is this that I'm watching? And she's like, Mark, that's track and field. And I said, I want to do this. I was a highly energetic child. And so now she just figured, okay, well, I'm going to get him into track and field. I kept begging her, all right, to put me in track and field. And the deal was at the YMCA, you could not run track until you were 8 years old. So by this time that track started, I was 5. But I was so insistent that this is what I wanted to do, all right? And so she actually had to beg and plead with them to let me run. So at 5 years old, I was able to start running track, and I continued to run throughout, you know, my junior years, and actually did quit track at about 12 years old. But it was a love that never went away. I just kind of got lost at times.
So, Marcus, at 12 years old, it's understandable. I mean, you're 12 years old and you're moving into your teenage years. Those are heavy, heavy years for anybody at that age. What brought back the drive, the fire to get back into track and field and ultimately to bring you where you are today?
Well, Peter, after a few circumstances, God brought a few circumstances into my life, and it brought the zest back into me, all right? And as that zest came back, the love of what was my first love began again. And so I had enough time to be able to do 1 year of high school track at this point in time. So I was able to compete that year for Germantown High School. And then I just knew that I was better than what I was showing right there. And so I set my sight for Division I college. So I called the coach up at the University of Memphis, and I said I want to run track. So he said, come on out. So he allowed me to walk on there, and gave me an opportunity to make the team, and that I did. And so I was able to walk on, and then eventually earning scholarship, and then winning races, collegiate races. And it was great. I mean, my work ethic just was one that I was not excessively talented. I had to work.
Well, what a great journey that you've been on, Marcus. And let's talk about the Olympics. I mean, I love the Olympics. I'm the kind of guy who stays up till midnight, watches all the races, all the commentary. I feel like I'm there competing with the U.S. athletes. And I'm also experiencing just the great highs, the Michael Phelps 8 gold medals, and even the lows that these athletes experience, like Lolo Jones the other night in the 100-meter hurdles. What is she going through? Take me through the lows, what these athletes feel with the expectations, the pressure that they come into in the Olympics, and then something that she goes through. You've had a chance to meet her. Take me through what she might be feeling right now.
Yes, Olympic athletes, it's one of the, I believe it's the most purest ambition and possibly in sport, okay? And so what could a Lolo Jones be experiencing right now? Because an Olympic medal for a track and field athlete, there are races, and then there is the race, okay? And in this particular instance, the race only happens every 4 years for every one of those athletes that are competing. Each race, yes, there's a certain amount of adrenaline that comes with it, but you dream. When you wake up in the morning, you dream about being an Olympic champion. I could not imagine, you know, what she is going through. I think right now at this point in time, after listening to her interviews, one is I would like to say she is a very classy person. I was able to meet her briefly for a very short time. She's she's actually more beautiful in person than she is on camera, okay? And then her words after her race make her even more beautiful, because you know this is a heart that has been hurt very, very deeply by the fall, her falling in this race, all right? And yet she still remains in a very, very classy manner, and is able to exhibit what makes her the beautiful woman that she is. So what do I think that she would be thinking? Right now, she's probably experiencing, she's a little bit down, very down, depressed, maybe a little bit, all right? But the sense that I get from an athlete like her is that in about 5 days, all right, she's going to be up and she's going to be fighting for the next race, okay? And more than likely, it's a blow, and what's very important is that she actually forgets it. She forgets it, learns from it, you know? It's kind of one of those things like forgiveness. You forgive, okay? And then sometimes, you know, you must forget, you know, but somewhere in there, you still learn from the wrongdoing, so to speak, you know? And so for her, I believe that this girl will be an Olympic champion. I believe that she has resolve that is far and few between. And so I expect actually from her on a personal level and as a track and field athlete, I think that possibly she could get the world record over the next 4 years. And I think that she will have a gold medal wrapped around her neck in 2012 in England. So that's what I think will happen for her. So we'll see if this is prophetic or not. And it'll only take 4 years to figure this out. But most definitely, heartbreaking, without a doubt. But I think this only adds to her resolve as a person. And we've been able to hear her story of moving around 8 different homes or 8 different schools by the time she was 15 years old. A lot of times athletes, and I know for myself, and this is more of a confession, that we go in there and we think that that gold medal is going to define us. And every race that I ever went into and I looked for it to define me, and any medal that I ever looked to define me, it never did. It's always, there's a piece of the pie that is missing. And what you realize is that one piece of pie, no matter how skinny it is, it's actually the whole complete pie. And so ultimately, what I found is that the love of Jesus Christ for me is, and wrapping my identity in that, is what ultimately gave me the fulfillment. I still want to compete hard, and I still love to compete, all right? But ultimately, it does not define me as a person.
So let's talk about the other side of the coin, the success side, winning the gold medal. Michael Phelps, 8 golds, Bolt, and just how dominant he's been in track and field in the 100-meter, 200-meter. In your experience, how has success shaped you? Or how have you used your faith, or how has your faith affected how you succeed in your races?
I really love seeing Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps become kind of an Usain Bolt fan. All right, as he's been out there breaking those records. And then of course, I've never really been into swimming, but Michael Phelps has got me pinned to the TV watching swimming because his feats are so amazing. So with the success, you know, a personal success story of my own was last year. I was in Italy and I was representing the United States in the Masters World Track and Field Championships. And once the race was all said and done, I ended up running the individual 400-meter race, and then I ran the 4x4, and I anchored for the United States on that race, and we were able to get a silver medal, and that was actually a very big accomplishment for us. And the question was posed to me later on that night of, so how does the silver medal feel? And I just kind of said, you know, I said, yeah. I said, it feels okay. You know, I was just kind of like, yeah, it feels all right, you know. And then this smile came from inside of me, from the depths of my soul, and I don't think my face was big enough, and I got a fairly big face, where my smile could not be contained inside of this face, you know. And I mean, there was a smile that just radiated out, I mean, at least 2 to 3 feet outside of my skin, you know, and it was just this sense of just the personal accomplishment. And one of the things that I can say that I've learned through track, all right, and through sports in general, is that I'm going to compare an apple to an apple. I will never compare, I try not to compare an apple to an orange, because then that will give me my sense of arrogance, and that will allow me to be susceptible to my fall. And so what gave me that sense of accomplishment was something that I was able to do, because I was able to run a time on this 4x4 leg that was 2.5 seconds faster than anything I'd run all season long. And I was doing it for my team. And when you run in a race like that, and what all these athletes are experiencing is, when they look onto their jersey, it doesn't say Michael Phelps, it doesn't say Usain Bolt, it says USA, it says Jamaica, it says your country, the country that you run for. And it means that you're going after something much greater than yourself.
Well, Marcus, amazing story, amazing testimony. Thanks for sharing your expert insight with us. And if you want to follow Marcus, he is blogging for conversionlife.com. You can find him right now under the health category. And yeah, appreciate it. Thanks. God bless you and all that you do.
Thank you very much.